Today I'm going to do a blind comparison of the 3 standard Sazerac Rye offerings: the classic 90 proof, the 100 proof, and the newest release, the 125 proof. I'm Amanda, and this is Wild for Whiskey. All of these are non-age dated. However, they are labeled as straight rye whiskeys, so they must be at least 4 years old. Sazerac does have 2 other offerings that are thought to have the same mash bill, although nobody really knows. But those are the Thomas H. Handy, first released in 2006, and the Sazerac 18 year, which was first released in 2000. Now, both of those are part of the antique collection, so they're really hard to find, but all 3 of these are going to be readily available. These have been spinning for quite a while now, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn these off and just see what I think of each of these pours. Let's start with the one closest to me. That has a really light, dry nose. I'm getting a good bit of orange out of it. Kind of a dried orange or orange peel sort of note. And there's definitely some rye spice sort of tucked in there, but it's not super rye forward, just on the nose. It definitely has some rye spice and some spikiness right out of the gate when it hits the palate, but it's not sticking around terribly long in terms of the spiciness, and then it's sort of rolling into a lot more of the fruit forward flavors, some more orange, maybe just a hint of peach. I'm getting a lot of leathery notes on the back palate, which I think is really interesting. It definitely is pretty dry, which is something that I personally really like. That's a decent pour. Let's try this one next. Oh, that's a stark difference. That's very interesting. This one smells like a sugared pastry of some sort. Like a powdered, sugared, covered, gooey, something delicious. It still has some of those citrus notes, but that sweet note is so forward on this, on the nose. This one, again, sort of hit me with some of that rye spice right out of the gate, but it's not overly spiky. And immediately I was getting just kind of an orange bomb with that. That is really good. It almost tastes like a powdered sugar donut with orange and just a hint of peach. And then it's finishing with a lot of sort of almost tart apple, like a Granny Smith sort of apple. That is quite good. Okay, I'm gonna call this first one that I tried A, this one B. Now let's try C. Again, the nose is a little bit dry. It's a lot more similar to A. Yeah, on the nose, I got a little bit of very light kind of hint of orange, more orange on the palate. I think that's so standard for me with a Sazerac Rye. It is very dry. And it's got sort of almost like a dry wood note a little bit in there. There is some sweetness coming through, and on the very back of the palate, I'm getting just a little bit of apricot. Okay, I'm gonna spend a little bit more time with each of these, kind of get my thoughts together on them, and then I'm gonna rank them, and I'm gonna tell you which one I think each one is. I've spent a little bit more time with these, going back and forth between them. I definitely have a favorite and a ranking and a guess on which one's which. As I spent more time with them, I didn't notice a whole lot more that I haven't already said. They're all pretty solid pours, but hands down my favorite was Glass B. I absolutely adore this one. My second favorite was Glass A. And my least favorite, although it was still good, was Glass C. I personally think that Glass A was the 125 proof, the one that was just released in November of 2025, their newest offering. Unfortunately, if I'm correct, my favorite is not yet available where I live. I live in North Carolina. I was lucky enough to get this while visiting my sister out of state. So if it is the 125, I'm gonna be waiting a little bit before I can get another bottle. I'm really torn as to which one of these is the 90 and which one is the 100 proof. They are drinking very similar on the proof. This one I think is drinking slightly lower proof, but it's just a touch spikier at the same time. I think that's a little bit more rye spice in it, but I could be wrong. I think that Glass A is the 90 proof, and I think that Glass C is the 100 proof. Let's see. Starting with my favorite Glass B, that is the Sazerac 125 proof. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to savor this bottle for a while until it gets into North Carolina, and then it should just be regular and shelf stable. Let's see if Glass A was the 90 proof. It was. This is the 90 proof that has been around since the early 2000s, and that means that Glass C is the 100 proof. This one just released very recently as well. It came out in July of 2025. It does come in the bigger bottle because it was intended to be a cocktail mixer at bars, which I do think makes sense with the slightly higher proof. I like this. I probably will keep all three kind of readily available. I probably will utilize the 100 proof more for cocktails when friends come over who are more cocktail drinkers than I am. I'm always going to be keeping Sazerac 90 on my shelf. I have had it on my shelf for years and years. I'm gonna have to stock up on the 125 proof as soon as it comes out. This was a really great comparison. I had a really good time putting these three head to head. If you have tried any of these, especially the two newer releases, please let me know what you thought in the comments. And as always, remember to like and subscribe.